Welcome, everyone. How are we on this beautiful Sunday? I apologize. My hair is having a mind of its own, and I don't currently like its opinion. It looks a mess, but um, I am just sharing on Facebook. I apologize. The dogs are being absolutely insane. It is super windy where I am at, so I apologize if the wind causes a lot of noise today. Um, trying to make it so that I can hear what's going on Facebook, so that I'm alerted to any technical difficulties. Loki. All right. Let me ensure that Loki. Ay, 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 this dog. All right, so as usual, this is going to be in our format, where we're going to have questions and answers and all of that. Wait a minute. That is not the correct way. Give me just a moment. I apologize. Our format, where we're going to have questions. Why is that? There we go. I apologize for that. I don't know how that happened. I think because of the lovely internet difficulties. I apologize for starting out on the wrong slides. All right. So, tech issues, internet problems all aside, today is week 3. We're going to talk about the $20 brand stack. We are going to talk about tactical tools for the budget conscious mogul. And so, as always, I usually start with my website. So there is my website for anybody who would like to stop over and see what I do outside of my master classes. Now, next, since we are on slide 1, which is the rule of 2, where we're going to be talking about visual identity and that we should stop playing artist and start playing pro. So, what I'm talking about is readability. Here is our first resource, Google Fonts. Ah, Loki, come on. All right. Hmm. Let's talk about something that's probably costing you a lot of customers right now, and you have no idea that it's happening. Raise your hand if you've ever spent 3 hours picking the perfect shade of teal. There we go. I apologize. I thought I had that on silent. Um, Raise your hand if you've ever spent 3 hours picking the perfect shade of teal for your logo, only to add 5 more colors because they all looked cute together. Sure, we all have done it. I know I am guilty of it. Um, yeah, guys, we need to talk. So here's a truth bomb. Your brand doesn't need to be a rainbow explosion to get noticed. In fact, the opposite is true. Welcome to the rule of two. The design principle that separates businesses that look successful from businesses that are successful. And before you think that this is just about looking pretty, let me hit you with some numbers that'll make your accountant cry happy tears. All right, who's ready for this? 80% of brand recognition comes from the color alone. Not your logo design, not your catchy slogan, color. Color, guys. That's data straight from the University of Loyola in Maryland. And it's been replicated across multiple studies. I do have those references if you would like. And I can go ahead and send those to you. Just send me an email. So, when you're using 7 different colors across your business cards, your website, your truck wrap, and your Instagram posts, what are people supposed to remember? You're basically asking your customers to play brand memory roulette. Spoiler alert, they're not going to. So here's what's really happening when you use too many colors. You create what designers call visual noise. Visual noise is the design equivalent of walking into a store where everyone's yelling at you at once. Your brain literally cannot process what's most important. Think about the brands that you trust the most. McDonald's. They use red and yellow. Starbucks. Green and white. Nike. Black and white. Even Tiffany's. They literally trademarked one color because they understand this principle so well that they own a shade of blue. Now, bonus points if you know the name of that shade of blue. Meanwhile, small businesses, especially in underserved markets, are out here looking like a kindergarten art project exploded on their marketing materials. And then they wonder why they can't compete with the big guys. Honey, the big guys figured out the rule of two decades ago. You know the fastest way to spot an amateur brand is count the colors. If you get past 3, you're looking at someone who doesn't know the rules yet. That's not shade. That's just the facts. Most struggling businesses don't realize their visual identity is screaming that we don't have our act together before a single word is even read. But here's the beautiful part. It it is fixable. Like right now, today, for free. Whoops. I apologize. All right, so let's shift gears for a moment and we're going to talk about fonts because apparently we all lost our minds here too. So many of us fall into what is known as the typography trap. Using multiple fonts across your marketing materials makes your brand look like a ransom note. I'm talking 3 different fonts on your business card, 2 other on your website, and then Comic Sans on your email signature because it's more friendly. Stop it. Get some help. When you use inconsistent typography in your marketing, it literally makes you look like a grocery list. There's no hierarchy, there's no sophistication, there's just chaos. And chaos doesn't close deals. All right, so I'm going to put you guys to a little bit of a test. Pull out your phone right now. Look at your Instagram grid. Look at your last 3 marketing posts. How many different fonts do you count? If the answer is more than 2 font families, you're making this harder than it needs to be. Want to know the secret to looking high-end without spending a fortune? Font consistency. That's it. That's the tweet. One font family used consistently makes you look like you just hired a branding agency, even if you're designing everything on Canva at 2 a.m. in your PJs. Luxury brands understand at a cellular level. They pick one typeface and they ride with it or die with it. Chanel uses Chanel uses the same font everywhere. Apple, the same font. Every single touch point. Your roofing company in a struggling neighborhood, they tend to have 5 different fonts on the same flyer. Well, I get it. You're trying to stand out. You're trying to be creative and you're worried that simple then means boring. But here's what actually happens. Simple means professional. Simple means trustworthy. Simple means this business has their finances in order and won't ghost me after I pay the deposit. All right, guys. So I'm giving you homework. This is a new part to the series. I decided that giving homework and turning this into a bit of a workshop is going to be a fun little aspect after the introduction weeks. So for the remainder of the weeks, we are going to add in a little bit of actionable homework. And this homework isn't going to cost you a single penny. So what I want you to do is head to Google Fonts. That's the link that is currently in our chat, but it is fonts.google.com. This is completely free. They have research articles, they have how-tos, they even help with like auditing your readability. This is professional grade typography that a lot of major companies use. Pick one font family, just one. Find one that has multiple weights, light, regular, bold, extra bold. Ones that give you variety but consistency. I want you to bookmark this site and use it for everything. Your social media graphics, your proposals, your email signatures, your website, everything. Because consistency is what builds recognition. And recognition is what builds trust. Trust is what builds revenue. Look, if you're in an economically disadvantaged area, You don't have the luxury of looking like an amateur. Your customers are already making assumptions about whether you're legitimate, whether you'll show up, and whether you're worth the risk. Your visual identity is doing half of the selling before you even open your mouth. So stop playing artist and start playing pro. Pick 2 colors, pick 1 font, and watch what happens when your brand finally looks like the quality of work that you actually deliver. The rule of 2, it's free, it's simple, and it works. All right, let's finally move on. All right, we're going to copy the link addresses for Cardco, which is a single page website maker. And we'll talk more about it here in just a moment. And we are also putting in the link for Google My Business. And again, we will talk about the pros and the cons of Google My Business within this. So here's a quick question that I want you guys to stop and think about for just a moment. Which reminds me. Sorry, I was adding an at highlight to this while I was at it. All right. So here's a quick question that I want you guys to stop and think about. When was the last time that you hired a business that didn't show up on Google Maps? Don't worry, I'll wait. All right. That's exactly what I thought. So why are you still invisible if you wouldn't hire a business that doesn't show up on Google Maps? Here's the uncomfortable truth about business in 2026. If you aren't on the map or a map, then you literally don't exist. Not to your neighbors, not to your potential customers driving by your storefront, not even to the people actively searching for exactly what you offer. But here's the plot twist. Claiming your digital real estate costs either $19 a year or absolutely nothing. So if you're not showing up online, it's not a money problem. It's a not knowing what to prioritize problem. So let's fix that right now. So we're going to go through the $19 a year website deep dive. The myth of expensive websites. First, let's kill a lie that's probably been holding you back. That you need a fancy website. And that fancy websites cost thousands of dollars. Wrong. Dead wrong. And that belief is costing you customers today. Give me just a second. There we go. All right. So, enter Cardco here. Meet Cardco, the single best kept secret for micro businesses and small operations. It is a one-page website builder that costs $19 a year. Not per month. This is per year. That is $1.58 per month. You spend more than that on a gas station coffee. Now, before you think one page sounds cheap, let me hit you with some data that might change your whole perspective on websites. Here's why one-page websites win, especially for micro and small businesses. This is what most people don't understand about website design in 2026. 57% of local searches happen on mobile devices. And you know what mobile users hate? Waiting for the pages to load. Clicking through navigation menus, scrolling through 5 different pages trying to find your phone number. A one-page site is faster and easier to navigate on a phone. For micro businesses, especially in an economically disadvantaged area where every impression counts. Clean, fast, single-page website beats out the clunky 5-page website every single time. Why? Because of the psychology of simplicity. Think about what your customers actually need for your website. What do you do? Where are you located? How do I contact you? And can I trust you? That means an about you, where you're located, a contact me form, and simple reviews. That's it. You don't need a blog that nobody's reading. They don't need an hour history page that starts in 1987. They need proof that you're real, proof that you're competent, and a way to call you. One page can handle all of that. Now, here's the kicker. One-page sites actually convert better for simple offers. Studies show that a single-page landing site can convert 15 to 25% higher than a multi-page site for straightforward services. Why? Because there's no distraction, there's no visual noise, just one clear path. Here's what we do, here's how to hire us, and here's the button. So for $19 for an entire year, you can have a professional online presence that loads in 2 seconds. It looks good on every device and tells your customers exactly what they need to know. Card gives you templates, custom domains, forms, and even the ability to embed videos or payment buttons. It's everything that you need and nothing that you don't. Sorry, my nose itches. All right. So next we're going to talk about the amateur versus pro reality. So here's what is really happening. Your competitors with no website, they're losing 80% of potential customers who won't even consider a business without web presence. Your competitors with terrible, slow, outdated 5-page sites, they're losing customers to bounce rates and confusion. You, with a clean $19 a year one-pager, you're suddenly in the top 20% of credibility in your market. That's not an exaggeration. That's just understanding what customers are filtering before they ever pick up the phone. Here's our Google My Business profile breakdown. Let's talk about the single most powerful free tool that you're probably ignoring. Your Google My Business profile. And this works for even the contractor, the landscaper, the small boutiques, and even your local MLM. You are losing out. So the stat that should absolutely terrify you. Are you ready for this? I bet you're not. Hope you're sitting down. 46% of all Google searches have local intent. That means that nearly half of everyone searching on Google is looking for something that's near them: a service, a store, a contractor, a restaurant. And if your business isn't showing up on Google Maps where they search, then you're invisible to 46% of customers. We're not talking about people who might buy someday. We're talking about people trying roofer near me, or landscaper in Pittsburgh, or emergency plumber right now in Crafton. High intent, ready to pay, and you're not even in the conversation. So let's take a minute to talk about the visibility crisis. Here's what kills me the most. Google My Business is completely free. It takes 15 minutes to set up. And yet, the majority of small businesses, especially in underserved markets, either don't have one or they set it up 5 years ago and have never touched it again. What does this mean for them? This means that their hours are wrong. That phone number that was good 5 years ago is now disconnected. Their photos are blurry shots from 2019, and they wonder why nobody calls. Spoiler, you trained Google to tell people that you don't exist. When someone searches for a local business, Google shows what's called the location path. Those 3 businesses at the top of the map in the results, they get 44% of all clicks in the local search. Those top 3 spots, not the ads, not the organic results below, to the map. Pull out your phone right now and search your own business category plus near me. Are you in the top 3? Are you in the first page of that map at all? If the answer is no, then you just discovered why your phone isn't ringing. Now, let's talk a little bit about what a complete profile will actually do for you. Here's the money stat. A Google My Business profile with accurate and complete information. My Google heard its name, and so it's now trying to do stuff for me. I don't know what it's trying to do. Just proof that Google's always listening. So a Google My Business profile with accurate and complete information gets 7 times more clicks than an incomplete one. 7 times. Not 7% more. 7 times more. Now, here's what complete means. You have to have your business hours and actually keep updating them when they change. You need an accurate address and phone number, consistent across the entire internet. You need your business category. Pick the right primary category. This matters for ranking. Fill out your description. 75% of top ranking businesses have a complete description. Add photos. Businesses with 10 plus photos get twice the engagement. Add regular posts. Yes, Google lets you post updates like social media. And respond to the reviews, especially the bad ones. Now, if you have like a GoDaddy website, a WordPress website, Squarespace, they will help you update your Google My Business regularly. Another wonderful option, if even if you do have one of those, is socialmonials. You can usually find it on a deal where you buy the platform once, and you don't have to pay for it again through AppSumo. Um, I will, after this live, post in the comments AppSumo's website. AppSumo is where I go to find a lot of my affordable, comparable platforms. Um, and Socialmonials is an amazing one. They will let you post across a ton of platforms, LinkedIn, WordPress, all kinds of stuff. I really enjoy it. And you can still customize and it just works really well. All right. I apologize for going off on a tangent. And I will add Socialmonials website as well. So yes, and as always, thank you to Wave.video for providing us with this amazing live stream. They are amazing. My internet down in my office really freaking sucks. And Wave.video allows me to multi-stream for free, and it corrects my video for me, so there's no lag. So thank you, Wave.video. I do have an affiliate link. I really should add that. So if you would like, I believe you get a free trial with my affiliate link. God, I am a terrible affiliate. So yes. But if you would like something for free from that, let me know. I will be more than happy to share my link. All right. Now, let me get off the tangent now. All right. So, the mobile connection reality is what we're going to talk about next. And here's why this matters even more for local businesses in economically disadvantaged areas. 88% of people who do a local search on their smartphone, they visit or call a store within 24 hours. Think about that. You're not competing for attention 3 weeks from now. You're competing for a customer standing in their driveway right now, trying to decide who to call. I apologize. I need a drink. All right. If your Google business profile isn't optimized, if your hours are wrong, your photos are terrible, or your reviews are unanswered, you're losing same-day revenue. This isn't theoretical future revenue. This is money that should have been in your pocket today. One last stat to hammer home. Businesses with a Google business profile are 2.7 times more likely to be trusted by customers. That's not more likely to be found. That's more likely to be trusted. Because when people see you on Google Maps with real photos, real reviews, real responses, real updates, their brain goes, okay, this business is legitimate. And if you're operating in a neighborhood where people have been burned before by fly-by-night contractors who ghost customers, where businesses are closing without warning, that trust signal is everything. Your Google business profile does half of your credibility work for you before you ever show for an estimate. So, we're going to talk as a summary about the combined power of a website plus a Google profile. So here's how this will actually work in real life. Someone searches landscaper near me. Your Google business profile then shows up in the local pack because you've optimized it. They see your 4.8 star rating. They see your most recent photos of actual completed projects. They see that you've responded to reviews in the last week, which tells them that you're active. They click on your website. They click website in your profile, which takes them to your website. This is your card one pager, which loads in 2 seconds. It's a beautiful, clean design with professional fonts because you followed the rule of 2 from slide 1. Clear services, pricing transparency, and a big call now, testimonials, and a contact form. 15 seconds later, their finger is on the call button. That's the power of owning your digital real estate. You went from invisible to hired in under a minute. This leaves you at a competitive advantage. While you're doing this, your competitor 3 blocks over, who still doesn't have a Google profile, or even worse, they do have a Google profile with 2 blurry photos, ours from 2021, and one star review that says that they never showed up with no response. Their website is either non-existent or some $5,000 monstrosity from 2015 that takes 45 seconds to load on a mobile. You just leapfrog them for $19 and a little bit of elbow grease. That's not luck, that's strategy. So, last homework for this week. Your assignment, and I need you to do this week. Not someday, not when I have time. This week, guys. I want you to go to google.com/business right now. Not in 20 minutes, now. And if you don't want to type it in, I have already put that in the comment section. So, if you don't already have a profile, I want you to create one. If you do have one, I want you to audit it, update every field, add 10 or more high quality, high resolution photos, write a complete description, and respond to every single review. Set up posts. This is free money that is sitting on the table. Next, I want you to head to card.co. Again, no excuses. The link is in the comments. Pick a template that matches your industry. I want you to customize that with your brand colors and your fonts from slide 1. Remember, add your services, your contact info, customer testimonials if you have them. If you don't, start collecting them. And best part is you can snag them from Google My Business. So make everybody put their review there, respond to their review, then add it to your card co. And add a clear call to action. Connect your current domain. If you don't have one, get one. Publish it. And you can do this all in an afternoon. Add your card website to your Google business profile. Now, when people find you on the map, they can click straight to your professional web presence. These 2 tools will work together to build your credibility and start to capture your leads. Now, here's the bottom line. In 2026, if you're not showing up on Google Maps and you don't have a website, you're then operating like it's 1987, and your customers aren't living in 1987. They're on their phones searching for solutions right now. And they're going to hire whoever shows up first with proof that they're legitimate. Now, you can't control the economy. You can't control your neighborhood's reputation. You can't even control whether customers trust small businesses in general. But what you can control whether you show up on the map. What you can control is whether you have a professional presence. And you can do both of these things for less than $20 on a Saturday afternoon. Digital real estate. Claim it, optimize, own it. Because if you're not top of the map, then you don't even exist. And I need you to exist. So let's keep on going to our Q&A. So who has questions for me? Feel free to put any questions, comments, feedback in the comment section. I will be watching the comment section just to keep up to date with everybody's questions, feedback, all of that. So I will answer it all live now. And the nice thing about this format is I do also post questions. These are things that I always want you guys to keep in the back of your mind, even if you're not already asking questions. So make sure that you take a moment to write these questions down. Answer them after each of these, because these are things to really help get you thinking about your business and things that you can improve on. These questions are designed to really help get you in the business mindset when it comes to your business and branding. All right. So, as I've just shown you how it looks, I've just shown you how to look like $1 million operation for the price of a couple pizzas. I know some of you are currently clutching on to your @Yahoo email addresses, like they're family heirlooms. Since you're all remarkably quiet, probably because you're busy deleting old MySpace photos, let's talk about the digital face that you're showing to the world. Our first question is, how many of you are signaling that I operate out of 1998 because your business email ends in @hotmail.com or @yahoo.com? I'm going to give everybody just a minute. All right, let's be real. If I see an @AOL or @Hotmail address on a truck, I don't even think Experienced Pro. I think this guy hasn't updated his software since the Macarena was popular. It's about congestive ease. A custom domain like info@yourbrand.com signals that you have a digital home. It says that you are an established entity and not a guy who might lose his password and vanish. So, come on. Bess, here is still rocking an @yahoo.com email address? Raise your hand. Don't worry. We're not judging. And I'm not going to tell the branding police. At least not yet. But why are you holding on to it? All right. Question number 2. If I looked at your business card right now, would I find a professional identity, or would I find a DIY project gone horribly wrong? All right. Question number 2. Okay. We've all seen it. The business card with 3 different fonts and a blurry clip art lawnmower. A phone number crossed out with a Sharpie. Sorry, guys, that isn't a business card. It's a cry for help. Signaling theory tells us that if our business card is a mess, then our service is a mess. A clean, minimalist card from Canva, a simple template, says that you have mental order. Now, here's the big question. What is the worst business card that you have ever been handed? Was it on a piece of cardboard, a napkin, a paper towel? Come on, guys, let's hear those horror stories. This helps point out why you don't want to repeat those same mistakes. Also, did you go on to hire them with their business card being on a napkin or a piece of tissue paper? All right. Question 3. Why are we willing to spend $50 on a tank of gas to go look at a lead, but we won't spend $1.58 a month on a website that closes the lead for us? Gas is $4 a gallon. Your truck gets 12 miles to a gallon. You drive 30 minutes for a lead that doesn't even know your name, and they say no. You just set $50 on fire. Meanwhile, a card website costs $19 for an entire year. That is $1.58 a month. A website that does the trust work before you ever turn the key in the ignition, that is the highest return on investment tool in your shed. How many leads did you drive to in the last week? How many of those leads converted to customers? Imagine if 20% of those saw your professional site and felt so much trust that they were already a yes before you even arrived. How much gas money would you have saved? Question 4. If you could only keep 2 colors for your entire brand universe, what would you pick and why did you pick that hideous neon orange that screams, "I was on sale"? All right. In neighborhoods like ours, we often pick colors based on what's available or what's bright. But neon orange doesn't say premium contractor. It screams traffic cone. And how many of us love traffic cones? We need to pick colors that signal the result of our work. Deep blues for trust, greens for growth, charcoal for strength. If you had to pick just 2 colors today that represent your business, and you aren't allowed to pick safety vest yellow, what would they be and why? All right, question number 5. Which part of your current $20 brand stack makes you feel like an imposter when you're talking to a high-end client? All right, we've all been here. You're quoting a job for a client who lives in the nice part of town, and you're terrified that they're going to look at your handwritten invoice and realize that you're just a guy from the other side of the tracks. That imposter syndrome comes from a gap in your tactical perception. When your digital tools match your skill level, that fear tends to disappear. Now, When was the last time that you felt like you didn't belong in a room with a client? Was it because of your work or was it because of your paperwork? All right. I apologize. I had several emails and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't anything important that I am missing. All right. Last question. So who here is paying a marketing guru $500 a month to look worse than they could for a $19 a year Cardco website? Go ahead, raise your hand. No judgment whatsoever. While there's a whole industry of gurus who prey on small businesses, they promise SEO miracles, social media stardom for $500 a month. Most of the time, they're just using the same free tools that I just showed you, and they're charging you a 500% markup for the privilege. We are taking back our power. You don't need a middleman to own your brand. Here's the last question to ponder for the night. Has anyone ever been burned by a marketing company? Go on, raise your hand. What did they promise you? What did they actually deliver? Let's name and shame some of those tactics. If not the actual names. Companies need to know who to watch out for. So yes. It sounds like some of you have some digital housekeeping to go do. Good news. It's cheap and it's fast. Next week, we're moving from the look to the location. We're going to learn how to own the Google Map space so that neighbors find you before they find the big box stores. Go buy your domain name. Go get your brand together. Class dismissed.